We will focus more on accommodations because inclusive education, as I said earlier, requires children to be learning the same curriculum. And if we want children to be learning the same curriculum in the same classroom, we will need to make more accommodations and less modifications. So accommodations are changes in teaching methods. How a teacher teaches in a mixed ability classroom with students with handicaps or disabilities is important to note. These teachers will have to be trained in how to work with mixed ability classrooms, and that is a very different skill. Accommodations could include changes in where you teach, who teaches, how you teach, how the student can respond, and materials to use. Now, all these 5 things incorporate pedagogical skills. Where you teach, in a classroom, to the entire class, to small groups, to individualized instruction. Who teaches? Are you the only teacher in the classroom? Do you have an aide or a student helper who can help you? Who teaches the mixed ability classroom? One teacher or more than one? How you teach? Do you chalk and talk? Do you lecture? Do you play games? Do you have puzzles? Do you show movies? Do you have video clips? Do you involve students? Do you do group work, individual work? All these will be part of mixed ability teaching methods. How the student can respond? Can the student speak, write, respond in groups? Can the student work on his own? Does the student need to stand, sit, do work? Can the student participate, actively be involved and respond and show you that he or she can do it? And finally, the materials you use. It cannot be only the textbook. The materials used in a mixed ability classroom have to be more than just the textbook and the whiteboard or the chalkboard. We need other materials, hands-on materials, manipulatives, things students can use in order to learn and show that they are learning. Take an example. This is the first one. A and B are brothers. A is older. The two go to a school which is found less than 5 kilometers from their home in Paris. Although there is a difference in age of 3 years between two brothers, their grade levels are only 2 years apart. A is in the 4th grade. What class is B in? When you look at this scenario, there is too much information that may not be needed and may actually confuse the children with some disabilities. This can be made simpler for students. After all, the question only asks where the second brother is studying. What is the grade level of the second brother? And do you need all this information? You don't. So let's look at the second example. A and B go to school in Paris. A is older. They are 2 grades apart. A is in 4th grade. What class is B in? Simple. You've only provided the information the child will need in order to be able to give you the correct response. Do you see how much verbiage, how much extra nonsense has been avoided? We have to stop focusing on quantity. A longer question does not mean it is more meaningful. It simply means it is carrying too much information, and some of that information may not even be required by the student in order to solve the problem. The second example here shows a much more simpler version, down to earth, carries exactly the information that the child will need in order to solve the problem. The child, however, in both cases still has to figure out how he will solve the problem. And that should be the focus of any question, the methodology. How will the student solve the problem, not what will the student need to solve the problem? The process is more important than the product.